Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to the Morehammer podcast, your bi-weekly wargaming podcast where we talk all things around the hobby. As you can see, it is just the two of us this week holding down the fort. Myself, Wargaming Luke, and bringing back the Benergy, we have Ben, aka 90% Geek. How are we doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm assuming our resident psyker is, currently waiting to be sacrificed to the Golden Throne.
Yeah, they finally got him. It's finally,
The black
he's
ship's
finally up.
They've taken him away. Sisters of Silence have got him.
After this podcast, basically, me and Ben are basically going to have to be trying to pull Sai away from that, just to keep him away from the throne a little longer, but,
Stage, like a prison break or something. It'll be fine. We'll get, the plans to the Imperial City tattooed on our skin. I've seen the TV show. I know how it works.
So all of you viewers and listeners, put forth your psychic energies to help Sai out. He needs your help.
We'll just sacrifice you in his stead.
Yeah, we'll hopefully see him back next time, guys. But there's quite a few things we can talk about this week between me and yourself, Ben, anyway, and we've got some hobby updates we can also, of course, give, and we've had some community questions in from you guys, and our own topic that we're going to bring up, hopefully. So we've got plenty we can do, but as always, if you are listening or viewing on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to us, throw a like on the videos, of course, leave us comments and topics for future shows. They're really important, guys. They really help drive these videos, and we love to have your topics as well for future episodes. And Spotify is actually really doing well for us at the moment, so jump in with everybody over there, and we've got video there as well now, so if you prefer that platform, go ahead and jump over there too. And of course, we always love to advertise it, our fantastic Discord community. Jump in and chat with us guys there. I don't know about you, Ben, but I love doing the videos, but that's, I think, one of my proudest things that we've made.
The Discord community is brilliant, and I'm not saying that just because I've been using it to flog my wife's mead this week.
No, it's true, actually. Yeah, go and buy Ben's wife's mead. It looks really good. It's very professional.
At least 2 members of the Discord, thank you very much, that have bought mead this week as a result of me going, oh, look what we've up to. Which is appropriate given I'm sat in the meadery at the moment as we're recording this.
And we definitely still need to organise some sort of meetup for gaming and stuff. So I think when we do, I'll put forward some money to your wife for you to bring a bottle of mead with you as well, and I'll try it out. But no, do check the Discord out, guys. Links for everything like that is in the description below. But I suppose, Ben, what is it time for?
And now the news.
Lovely stuff. And yeah, as we alluded to, there is a nice bit to talk about. Probably a bit more than there should have been, purely because there's probably one of the earliest leaks. Me and Ben were saying before this started that we've probably ever had from related to Games Workshop, which there is a question linked to this later on, actually, from the Discord for community questions, so we might tie it into all this. But I'll throw up the first of one of these. So the leaks, they jump from future Kill Team release, basically, right, Ben? So what looks to be this next season or so of Kill Team release box sets, as they do. They release a box, right, and you've got 2 different Kill Teams facing off. And it looks like, possibly coming forward, we've got a new Catan Shard of the Nightbringer.
Which there's no possibly about it. It's glorious.
Oh, no, yeah, that's true. And it is amazing. I've always thought they're very cool models anyway, the Shard Catan.
Yeah, the original, I think, was a really nice model. This one takes everything that was great about the original model and just turns it all the way up.
For sure. There's actually this model's very Sigmar. Actually, I thought it's probably one of the closest things, monster-esque creatures, ghostly creatures you can do to make look almost more Age of Sigmar. It reminds me of like the Nighthaunt stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the Mortark type stuff. If you looked at this and you looked at Lady Oleander, you'd be like, no, that one's the boss.
That's it. Yeah. It always makes me laugh though with the older models, just how much bigger they make everything now.
Yeah, really... To be fair though, if we were to hoik up like the model so that it's floating in midair, that one is. If it wasn't, on like Dave the proton beam guy sculpting wavy lines.
It's got to be alliterated, doesn't it? It's got to be Pete the Proton Man.
Pete the Proton.
Pete the Proton guy.
Don't cross the streams. No, the body on that I think is probably similar-ish size. The scythe is definitely bigger. Like the scythe is huge.
Yeah,
but it's not dissimilar in size, which is kind of cool, and it just looks so epic as a design.
For sure, and I like how they've kind of widened it out a bit with the scarab swarms as well coming out of there.
He's got like spread his skirts out a little bit.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, well, it's no, very cool, and I think it's nice for Necron players. They'll get something big and new here to add to their armies, and I don't know how many like Catans there are now. Maybe four? Yeah, four.
So there's four Catan that were supposedly 4 shards that specifically survived as persona at the end of the War in Heaven. You've got to. I'm going to briefly nerd here, but I'll try and let's see if I can keep my nerding down to 60 seconds or less. The original Necron Codex had it that the Necrons were enslaved to the Catan.
Yes,
they
I know that
Necrons
part.
were mindless robots, and Catan were the ones in charge. And they said in the original lore that there were 4 Catan that had survived the end of the War in Heaven, basically by cannibalizing all of their siblings. So that originally there had been many more different types of Catan, but like the last 4 essentially had survived by killing and stealing the energy from the others. How that works now that you've got shards, rather than it being, now that they are subservient, I suppose, to the Necrons rather than vice versa, and that they're not the full individual star god on their own, they're just, fragments of it. I'm assuming that they're still keeping to the lore that towards the end of the War in Heaven, there were only like 4 main kind of personas that had survived. That those are the ones that when they recombine their shards, you get them forming up into kind of the Deceiver or the Nightbringer, as opposed to the just kind of transcendent Catan that seem to just be pure energy and don't really have a persona to them. But the 4 Catan are the Deceiver, the Nightbringer, the Void Dragon. Of course, we've got models for all 3 of those now. Hopefully, the Deceiver will get a new shiny model. And then the last one is the Outsider. And there have always been lots of theories about what the Outsider is, whether or not, for example, it went outside the galaxy and it's the Tyranids, or whether it's what the Tyranids are running away from, or equally whether it went outside as in it ended up in the warp is one theory, that maybe it's trapped in the webway somewhere by the Harlequin god. But yeah, there's lots of things. The Outsider is supposed to be insane. All the lore says the Outsider went outside and went insane. So yeah, yay, insane, omnipotent star gods. I think that was less than 60 seconds.
So I think we got 3 models for Catan so far.
We do. Well, we've got 3 named character Catan.
Yeah.
The Deceiver at this point will be the last one that is of the old original sculpt.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I'm assuming, again, in their push to get rid of Finecast, will eventually get its own plastic kit as well. And yeah, the Transcendent Catan, which you get in the kind of giant Lord of War style monolith thing. That one's an unnamed star shard.
Yeah. Well, no, that's very cool.
It's a gorgeous model.
There. Yeah, and it's saying it will culminate. This model will culminate the season that we're going to get next for Kill Team, which is all based around obviously Tomb World, because we had revealed, didn't we, in the last
the big reveal that they had
Warhammer reveal show, and it was
scenery
the nice new board and action style,
space hulky type scenery,
board and terrain. Yeah,
really,
almost like the Prior
nice.
Nexus stuff we had, but nicer. Yeah, to be honest. Because it was almost like your normal ruined walls, but then you had all these
like Necrons entombed in them.
Yeah, very cool.
Some of them kind of half bricked over and stuff. It was really, really cool. I'm really looking.
Yeah,
it's the first of the kind of the Kill Team scenery that's really kind of spoken to me. Going, okay, I might have to get that.
And all like the new excavator warrior. As well, very cool. So yeah, this nice big model will culminate in that. And I don't think it's on this. It might be on the next one we're about to look at. They will show where this leak stuff was meant to come out to. So we will see that in a moment. But we'll move on to the probably even bigger leak stuff, really, because it's a whole other set.
Let's touch on the next army set first.
Yep. So this is an Adeptus, Sororitas, and Chaos Space Marine, but pretty much you're looking at like Night Lords, really, I think, themed.
It's Raptors type stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, Shadow Hunt is what they call in this one. Kill Team set.
Flares and prayers.
Indeed. And again, it looks like, they're showing it with like this boarding action style terrain here. I don't know if that's just because they're wanting to save what's going to actually come in this set. Maybe, I'm not sure.
I was going to say as well, this is the jump pack equipped Chaos One, which we thought we might go earlier when we had like the jump packed, Vespin and the Quilons and stuff. And we kept thinking, maybe we're going to get like some kind of Chaos Space Marine thing. And they're inside an underground tomb.
Yeah. At least in this case, anyway. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, I suspect that when they get their own box, maybe the scenery that comes with it will be something far more open air.
Yeah.
But you never know.
We'll see. But yeah, the Adeptus Sororitas kill team are the Celestian Insidiants. I think we've had one Sisters of Battle themed kill team before this.
Yeah, we had the Neophytes, the Novitiates.
Yeah. So this is I think the
and
second
actually, I
one
think the Ecclesiarchy one is also quite Sisters of Battle themed. The one that
that / probably almost like Inquisitorial, I suppose, like a bit of a mix, isn't it? So it's nice to see they've got another option here, and these are pure nice sisters as well. These, you got Superior, the Reliquarius. Always love a woman with a crossbow. There we go.
Well, yeah, these are so you've got the option that says of arming these either with bolter crossbows, which are these go back to I think 3rd, 4th edition 40k. Mm-hmm. Like they were like essentially Van Helsing style stake launchers. They're specifically anti-psycho weapons.
Yeah,
or you can arm them with like melee weapons and like Inferno pistols and pistol flamers and stuff. And then they've got all like the different options as well, like the Denuncia, who's got a big speaker system on her back. Or I was going to say, the Morta Sanctus with the kind of the double-handed greatsword pose just looks the bomb.
That's epic, yeah. You got the Censor
and
the Abjurer, so like Abjurer is like you're shielded, almost like what they called that the Space Marines have.
Well, like Storm Shield. Yeah, basically.
That sort of thing.
Crusader kind of variant. And then these are the ones which are just armed with the basic hand weapons. Next is the Chromators, which are hand flamers and psychic maces, or anti-psychic, like null rods, basically for whacking psychers over the head.
They got a nice mix of weapons here for dealing with different heresy.
They really, really do. And I think what's quite cool is one of the guys on our Discord pointed out that you can make like 3 or 4 of the different character option kits for Sisters of Battle with very little conversion out of this. Like you've got the Dialogus, you've got like the Palatine, you've got a whole bunch of different types of Sisters of Battle characters that normally you'd have to pay like 25, 30 quid for a clamshell pack of. You can probably just buy this one box and make like 5 of this type and have 5 characters out of it as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, I must say they're nailing it with since they've not rebooted, but done the next season of Kill Team. I'm really enjoying the new Kill Team. I can't wait to try and get fit in another game of it. I'm
in danger of having to just buy every box for this edition of Kill Team because I've got my Death Watch out of storage. I've got a Necron army that I started on before they started doing the scenery. I started a Sisters army last year, and I've got a big red Corsairs army which has got loads of like Raptors and Possessed in. So if we scroll down to the other unit options that you get in here,
so
these are so cool.
Yep. So, like I say, it's almost like Night Lord-esque themed, like because we've already got the Nemesis claws, which are very cool, which very much tempted me to just do a Night Lord army anyway. And then they've done these elite form Raptors.
The Huntmaster with the big like 2-handed glaive is really cool, and that would be very easy as well to just swap that sword blade on the end for like a curved chain-sword and make it an Astraman chain glaive.
And that champion's awesome. I'd be tempted to get one of the proper, almost like Night Lord heads to put on him as well.
Yeah, winged. If you had a spare one left over from like the other box,
he would look so cool in that pose.
Really cool.
Very cool. And then you got Shrieker and Skyseer, and I haven't read specifically what a lot of these do. I mean, they usually do more.
Skyseer's got a melter gun for definite.
And just have your different weapon loadouts, don't they? Really?
Yeah. They're under big double-handed chain axe. Yeah. And actually, someone on the Discord pointed out, that's a Beaky helm. That is a Chaos Beaky helm. Chaos Mark 6. You don't see that very often.
No. It's these kind of sets that people will just nick these little helmets from and duplicate them over and over again. And the Curse Claw, so cool. Almost like where you're getting your Possessed crossed with your actual Chaos there. So very cool. Is that his tongue sticking out of the helmet?
I think it is, yes.
That's creepy.
The front of the helmet's open to become a screaming mouth.
It's very lustful for combat. Standard Raptor and Warp Talon there, so you could turn this whole box into either side of that, which is exactly what I'll be doing if I do a Night Lord army next year, by the time these come out.
The next one's interesting because it comes with a character in the box as well, which means we've already got a Chaos Lord and Jump Pack model that they did for Chaos. But this is going to come with another Chaos Lord and Jump Pack with twin lightning claws.
Yeah, so this is almost like the Lord you'd put with your Warp Talons unit, maybe, and then the other one you'd put with your Raptors, I suppose. I haven't really read on this, to be honest, but might be some interchangeable bits as well. I have no idea.
I think it's just really cool as well that you get a character in there for the
very cool
Chaos Forces.
Very, very cool. It does. I don't think. No, Sisters of Battle don't really have one in there. They've just got their standard sort of sergeant, almost sort of thing.
Superior.
That's it. It did make me wonder then, because whether they were bringing back the whole commanders thing for Kill Team, because they had that in the last edition. Because that was quite cool actually. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But, oh no, okay, so I was wrong. They did, actually, I never saw this first time looking at this article, so they do actually have the terrain on here.
It's going to come with, like, buildings
some
for
more
them to jump around
ruins,
on which makes more sense.
Yeah, absolutely. But they are showing in the bottom here how they can still be used in warning actions as well.
If you've bought that from the previous game.
Yeah. And then, as always, your Shadowhunt dossier book, your tokens, decks, and then a little roadmap, which I'm sure they weren't planning on releasing.
This, to me, smacks of the Underpants gnomes from South Park. It's like, Tomb World, Shadowhunt, Prophet. What's going to come in the middle? I mean, honestly, who knows? What could possibly link between Deathwatch and... Ooh.
All right, here we go.
Okay, hang on. Just spitballing here.
Yeah.
There is no Grey Knight kill team.
Ooh, that's a good shout.
Ordo Militant of the Ordo Xenos, Chamber Militant of the Ordo Hereticus, Chamber Militant of the Ordo Malleus in the middle. That would be very cool. Deathwatch, Grey Knight Sisters. Because bear in mind, with the Imperial Agents rules, you can add like a unit of each of those sort of stuff to your armies if you're an Imperial army anyway. That would be really cool if it was like a Grey Knight kill team.
That would make a lot of sense.
Grey Knights versus Custodes may be based on the current meta that people are talking about in the lore.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think it's actually going to be Grey Knights versus Custodes. I'm just joking there. But no, Grey Knights is a possibility. Grey Knights versus something else.
Yeah. I'd say Grey Knights or even Grey Knights or Custodes is what I was going to say, to be fair. But yeah, and then as for what they're up against, it could be anything, to be honest. So we'll have to just wait and see. Not Necron or Chaos, anyway.
Not Necron or Chaos, but there is kind of a vibe there. I mean, to be fair, it could be Chaos, because it could be Chaos like Emperor's Children, for example. It could be one of the more specific kind of versions of Chaos.
True.
Because there's the Cornate ones we've had. We've had like the Jackals with the stringy legs. And have we had a Zinch kill team?
Thousand Sons.
Did Thousand Sons get their own kill team? I don't think they have.
No, I don't think they have.
And likewise, I don't think Nurgle have. I think, haven't they? I'm fairly sure.
A long time ago, I feel like.
They had this edition of Kill Team. Kind of the starter box was them re-releasing some of the the heroes miniatures.
Yes, yeah. So they might not do them then.
No, so what I mean,
Thousand Sons isn't a bad shout.
Thousand Sons versus Grey Knights would be an awesome one. Yeah, I don't think otherwise Emperor's Children have had one. Yeah, Goremongers with a corn one.
Spitballing here for Thousand Sons, what would be cool to see? Like some mix of Thousand Sons Marines, but like, you know, they've had those new Stalker robot type things.
Yeah.
Maybe a different variant of that or something cool, you know.
That would be cool. Yeah, like a smaller version, maybe.
Something like that.
Yeah, I'm just having a quick look. No, there's no Zinchian one. There's a lot of generic Chaos ones.
Maybe
I mean, there was Nemesis Claw, which obviously fits quite nicely.
I'll tell you what, though, Ben. That's even better shout to come up against Grey Knights.
Thousand Sons versus Grey Knights. Yeah, both Psychers. So you have essentially a full Psychic Battle Edition. That would be really... Let us know in the comments what you think it could be for the middle one. But I think we're channeling Psy. We're channeling the Psyche energy here. And we're going to suggest...
We're trying. Hopefully he'll be proud of us.
Thousand Sons.
Indeed. But yeah, I mean... look forward to that one in February next year, guys. I mean, we'll get to your questions in a bit, but it'll be interesting to pull back to this one for that. But today we had some really nice news, actually, I think, for Horus Heresy fans. So we've had, obviously, lots of great stuff for them this year with the new edition. But begin your conquest of the Age of Darkness with new combat forces. So Warhammer, Horus Heresy are effectively getting their own combat patrols here.
These are going to be like £100 boxes, I'm assuming. Like
probably slightly more because it's Heresy, but still, more cost effective than getting them stuff individually, I would imagine. So the first one here, you got the Legionis Astartes combat force. So some beaky boys, of course. What mark are these, Ben? Because you're going to have to help me out here.
Mark 6, the beakies. Beakies are all Mark 6.
Okay.
Corvus armor.
And then and some heavies here, yeah?
Comes with, so they've said it comes with the upgrade sprues, so you could equip them with heavy bolters or missile launchers. So that's kind of cool. It's not just like the tactical squad sprue, it also comes with the upgrades to let you make them into support a support squad, like a heavy devastator type
and
squad.
You got 10 there, so you could, I suppose, do 5 and 5 if you wanted to as well.
Well, no, in theory, I think it says it's 20 beakies coming in the box, so you could do 10 missile launchers, 10 heavy bolters.
Yeah, if there's enough, I suppose that makes sense. But very cool. And then
Leviathan.
You got a Leviathan Dreadnought in there.
That's showing it with the 2 shooty weapon arms. Whether or not it will come with
it because
combat upgrades and that's it. Well, given that they've included the heavy, maybe just scroll up the description a minute and see if it says. No, that's the tactical bit. So scroll down and see if it says underneath the Leviathan. Leviathan Dreadnought. This might be War Machine comes with the heaviest weapons. Choice of 3 arm mounts: the Cyclonic Melter Lance, the Gravfox, and the Storm Cannon. So no, it does not come with the combat weapon sprue. You'd have to buy that separately if you wanted to make a combat Leviathan version. But it lets you make the shooty version of the Leviathan.
Okay, cool.
And then a Damus Rhino.
Yeah, just standard Rhino. So you got a nice mix in there, right? I think.
I think what's cool about this as well is if you've bought Saturnine, for example, so you've got a load of the Mark IIs and the Saturnine Terminator armor, this lets you add in another Dreadnought. So you can then feel, to be honest, it's the second mighty Dreadnought alongside the Saturnine Star Dreadnought. So if you saw a Leviathan Dreadnought and a Saturnine coming across the board towards you, you'd be like, help! But then it also gets you some transport and it gives you some kind of upgrade stuff for the army as well. So if you wanted to include some Devastators or just some more tactical squads, it's a great add-on.
If you pick up both of those, you're going to have a lot of points.
Well, you'll have a full army at that point, but you'll have
easily
a load of stuff to kind of add on to Saturnine if you've already bought Saturnine, which I think is a good way of doing this.
Okay.
It complements Saturnine, I guess, is what I'm saying.
And I mean, this is something I was saying I wanted them to be doing to make Heresy as cost-effective as it can be, because Old World's been doing it since it got a reboot.
Yeah.
So there's no reason why not, and they have. So, yeah. So I appreciate this, and if I do at some point consider an Heresy, this is where I'll definitely start with it. So
I'm actually very tempted by the next one down, which is the Mechanicum Combat Force box. This one's really cool.
Yeah.
So you like big stompy robots, do you? Well, this comes with 6 Thalax, which are my personal favourite version of the robots that Mars field.
Yeah, very cool.
And then 2 Castellax, which are kind of you can arm with like clampy claws or buzzsaws and bolt cannons. And then a mighty Thanatar, which is the giant stompy robot with a huge plasma mortar mounted over its shoulder.
Yeah. I love the plasma.
These are really cool. And this is if you wanted to add a Mechanicum force to your Marines. So if you've got like your Marine army already, you wanted to add a Mechanicum detachment, this is pretty much a detachment in a box, because you could add this and then just add one like Marine Praetor with the or Centurion with the Mars control upgrade, and that gives you a Mechanicum detachment to field with your Marines.
Absolutely. But I also
it could be a good starting point for a Marine army, for a Mars army if you wanted to.
Well, I was going to say, because I think I'd have to get it up. I'll get it up in a minute if I can, but I believe the Mechanicum box, the big battalion box, I don't think much of this stuff's in that, because I think it's the tank in that box and the track tank, and more infantry and things. So I reckon, again, the idea is this isn't another thing you can, slot in, much like you were saying with the Imperium box.
You may be right.
I think so, but I could be wrong, because I think they had 2 big boxes Mechanicum. I think they had a heavy one as well, if I'm not mistaken. So, because I think we reported on that and reacted to that.
I'm just trying to have a look now to see if I can find it.
I don't know what's still out for those, if they're limited or not, but
it's looking like that may have been a limited box.
I imagine a lot of the Mechanicum stuff might have been. But the last, I think, here of the 3 is Solar Auxilia, which I always thought were really cool. So just some standard infantry, some guardsmen.
Then you got
the command box. And you got some of the technically
the mini sentinels.
They're like mini sentinels, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, they're like basically they're a mobile heavy weapons platform. So they're like a heavy weapons squad that can move easier.
And then
a tank.
Yeah.
I think this is actually it's cool, but I think this is the weakest of the 3 boxes. I mean, if you wanted to add a Solar Auxilia force to your existing Marine army, I think this is probably good for that. I'm not so sure this would be like if I wanted to start a Solar Auxilia army, this would be something I'd pick up.
But again, though, I think this is an expansion style thing as well, because if I remember rightly, the original Auxilia box that came out, Battalion box, it was the Armoured Sentinel.
Maybe the one that's big, kind of low shoulders.
Yep. So I think the idea with these as well is they're trying to still get those people that bought those Battalion boxes sort of over the last year. Here you go, here's another cost-effective option to get another 1,000 points, if you like, of whatever for heresy for your army. So really cool.
The Mechanicum starter box, I'm just checking for you. It was the big track. Actually, a lot of the stuff was. So it was essentially there was the big tracked tank, the 2 Castellax robots, and 4 of the Thalax, and then the rest of it was a load of little tech thralls.
Okay.
So it's similar. I suppose there's only so much stuff that's different across the Mechanicum range.
Mechanicum, yeah. So it's again just expanding, I guess, on it then. So that's good.
But it's definitely an ideal one if you wanted to add a Mechanicus detachment under the control of a Marine, which is obviously one of the options that you've got, especially for armies like Iron Warriors and stuff, having the kind of Centurion with the robot controller joystick, essentially.
For sure.
Here's a bunch of robots for him to control. Indeed. Albeit that Thalax is more like the kind of bad guy from RoboCop 2. It's like a brain in a jar.
Yeah, always is, isn't it? Okay, so I believe that's the majority of what we've got to react to. There were some, I think, made-to-order stuff put up today as well, or recently.
They've done, it's made-to-order Classic Eldar, Space Wolves, and Emperor's Children. And the Emperor's Children, it's things like, if you really have a hankering for the old Lucius model that is not as nice as the new one, or you really have a hankering for the old Fabius Bile model that falls apart when you poke it.
Yeah, or the old Eldred Ulthran model, which was one of the first ever models I bought, I think.
That one I really like, actually.
I still like that model, actually. It's very cool.
And likewise, the old Metal Phoenix Lords, I was quite tempted by that because I've got, I think, 4 of the old Metal Phoenix Lords. If they do them individually, it might be nice to round it up with the classic metals. If it's no, you can only buy all of the Phoenix Lords in one sum because it's too much of a pain in the bum to cast them individually, then no.
But no, it's cool. It's always nice when they bring back made-to-order stuff. People who want to finish out the collections, or if they prefer the old stuff, then that's great. GW do some things right, and today was one of those days. Except for accidentally leaking like the 4th next Kill Team box set we're going to be getting. But there we go.
And also, actually, just worth mentioning that in terms of pre-order stuff, the Cathay, Second Arcane Journal for Cathay goes on pre-order.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah.
Week. So that's kind of
maybe
cool.
Sooner than we thought, I think, really, for that.
Yeah, I mean, it basically means that we're going to get the rules for kind of armies in the wasteland and stuff. All of that stuff's coming up to pre-order this weekend, which is really cool. And Mao Ying, the giant, awesome dragon model, is going up on pre-order as well. And
all the separate cavalry and all that sort of stuff. So
yeah, the separate cavalry may have given me problems because I may have looked at those and then kind of gone, ooh, those would make really nice Grave Guard and Black Knights with minimal conversion. I do like Big Trouble in Little China. That's a really good movie. And now I'm currently writing an army list for doing David Lopan as a vampire count. I can put him on a coven throne, and then the 2 kind of handmaidens at the front can be painted up as the 2 girls that, like, I can't think what she's called, the one from Sex and the City. No, can't remember it. Anyway, yes, those.
It's been a long time since I've seen that, so no.
Kim Cattrall, and the other girl. They can be painted up as them, and then he can be stood there on the common throne.
I love it. I love it. Oh, just this is a side note. Actually, did you see the article where somebody had converted the recent zombie dragon, and somebody had converted it into the Nighthaunt one? I thought that was very cool.
They did conversions for that, Flesh Eater Court, and Ossiarch Bone Reapers, didn't they?
Yeah, it's very cool. So shout outs to those. If you haven't seen
very cool conversions on the Warhammer community site.
Very nice. But what we'll do, I think, guys, we'll link straight from that into some community questions that you all sent in, because one of them straight away actually does tie in very nicely to what we've just been chatting about. And then we came up with a little topic, Ben, so we'll see if we have time for that. SBonnet82 sent in, thanks again, as always, bud. So are leaks an international hype train facilitator or a genuine lack of control by Games Workshop on their supply chain? And he did send this one in just after the whole Kill Team leak that we've just been through. So, I mean, my whole thing with it, Ben, I don't know about you, would probably be, I think it's a mix of both. I think sometimes it's accidental and sometimes it's on purpose. I think this thing that just happened, I'm not so sure that was meant to happen. At least not to the extent it did.
I think it depends on what the nature of the leak is. So I'm always very skeptical of the people who go I've been told by my friend who works in such and such a place that this is what... No. Potato can pictures like we got on this, I think, is a whole unfortunate side effect of the printing being done on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
And you have very little control over what's going to happen in a printing plant that's not owned by your company and is being done by somebody else entirely. And I think that is purely a side effect. I don't think it's intentional in that regard. I think it's perhaps a reflection of how popular the hobby is worldwide, and that therefore then leading into people in other countries kind of going, oh, this is really cool. This isn't the thing I'm interested in. Click.
It's like damn it, China. Why did they get into Warhammer? We even got them massively into Warhammer now. What's going on?
Yeah, no, that's it. And I think I think if it was done sometimes it's unintentionally, don't get me wrong, sometimes I think it is, but it tends to be only when it's a leak for something that's coming maybe a couple of weeks ahead and you want to build the hype. Leaking something like this now, it kills the hype from 6 months from now.
Yeah.
If this isn't being released until early to mid next year, that's this. We saw this last year. God, this has taken a long time to come out, hasn't it?
Yeah. Whereas I think majority of the time, at least that's why I think when models end up accidentally getting to people, I feel like that maybe is sometimes they're sending out random stuff.
Yes, I think that is the intentional version, is when they do things like the sprue. Oh, I accidentally got this sprue included in my box.
Yeah.
Because
most of the time it's like somebody's like, oh, I bought some Chaos Space Marine Tactical Marines, and they've ended up with some new Eldar Phoenix Lord in there, Fugan. Yeah. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm not sure they would get mixed up like that on a production
Something would have to be seriously wrong for somebody to accidentally put a sprue from a completely different product in there, just a couple of weeks before it's due to then be released.
Yeah, I think that is hype stuff from GW and little nods and things.
The question that comes from that then is how irresponsible is that at Games Workshop? Because if I got really excited, if I'd ordered, Nemesis Claw or something, and I then got the new Fugan model, there'd be a part of me like, wow, this is cool. This is the new model.
Have there been situations there where people have received the wrong thing and it's been something unreleased, though? I think most of the time, isn't it, it's just additional?
No, most of the time, I think it is. It's the replacement.
Is it really?
I ordered X and got Y in the box.
Okay.
Because otherwise, you try and squeeze that extra sprue in there, the box isn't going to fit properly. So either you get, if it's a 2-sprue box, one of the sprues you get isn't the sprue you needed. But more often it seems to be when someone orders a single sprue box and they get the different sprue instead. Which, if that's being done intentionally, there'd be a part of me be like, this isn't what I ordered.
That's a good point.
I wanted this. I was excited to build this.
Yeah. And unless we're going to go as far as saying that it's a plant by GW, where it's it's somebody they kind of know. Okay. So
let me get the tinfoil. We'll have to wrap our heads to make sure that the microwaves don't control our brains. Yeah, I mean, there is maybe an element to it of maybe it is actually just to screw up. We're not trying to run a multi-billion-pound company with offices and production all over the place, where sometimes maybe things do just get put in the wrong box. Maybe that is just something that happens.
Who knows? Yeah. But no, I mean, I think for the most part, to answer your question, like, I think for the most part, it's just accidental, and it's like Ben's just said, it's a multi-corporation, massive thing to run.
Never ascribe to enemy action what can simply be ascribed to incompetence.
But the one thing I will say is on it, they will have to clamp down on it soon if it starts getting much worse, because what we've just had in the last week, they definitely wouldn't have been planning to reveal that until end of this year. So if it gets any worse than that, like for example, like next summer we're gonna get the new edition of 40k. If at the end of this year we're already getting leaks for the box set for that, that's not ideal, is it? So yeah, it's a good question though. It was a good one.
It is an excellent question.
Our second one from Discord here, we've got Gigasius. Thanks, buddy, for sending in. Says, any fantasy, sci-fi / historical archetypes you would wish were represented in the Warhammer games and settings? Is there something obvious missing that would work as a faction or so? That's interesting.
It is,
because I mean, across all of Warhammer's game systems, they cover a hell of a lot now.
They do. This is true, especially since the old world came back and brought some of the more traditional kind of sword and board and that kind of stuff into play.
Yep, and you've even got the likes of sort of almost like mechs and almost anime-esque stuff is covered with Tau, which when it first ever came out, a lot of people were against, but it's there now and it's there. That services that crowd. I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head, really. I don't know about you.
The only thing that I keep coming back to is something like, I know we've got Cathay, but Cathay is very much Chinese representation. They've put a lot of time and effort into representing Chinese culture in a fantasy setting in that. I'd quite like to see something that was more like the Shogunate. I don't know if you've watched Shogun on Disney Plus. If you haven't,
it's amazing.
Cracking.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that kind of combination of that kind of samurai style that isn't really represented yet in any of the stuff.
I don't know if you've ever seen somebody did an amazing converted Space Marine army. They did a Mantis army and they put all samurai armor padding and everything. Oh, it looked.
And you can definitely, there's lots of ways you can convert models to have the aesthetic. But in terms of the way in which the army, like the culture and everything else was structured in that kind of era, there isn't anything yet in Warhammer that quite matches that. In terms of Japanese culture, I suppose most we've got the Tau, we've got the anime and the Gundam kind of approach, and maybe I suppose there's a hint of that in terms of the way in which Tau culture is organized. But that's the only when I saw this question, that was the only thing that I could think of was that isn't represented yet.
The only other thing that kind of links to this question with it's actually with Titanicus. I would love the idea that they'd actually expand that out to every faction, and every faction gets their Jaeger style. So like orcs get the massive stomper titans.
Well, like they used to, the Gargants. They used to have the Gargants. The original Titanicus box came with the Super Gargant and stompers versus.
But you have the 15 mil terrain, so you've got this kind of like massive Godzilla-esque Kong versus Kong style thing with every faction. That would buy me into that game.
One of the things I love about Epic, and one of the reasons why I've got an Epic Orc army and Eldar army and Space Marine army.
Stuff.
And also the option to let you take big armies on a small scale. Yeah, I think it's something that they are leaving money on the table for at the moment. If we're talking about stuff that they could be doing and haven't done, having other factions represented in things like, I suppose, Legions Imperialis, it would have to be now rather than just re-releasing Epic. They could have just re-released Epic, to be honest. But if we're going to go to Legion scale, then they'd have to do the Orcs, the Eldar, and they couldn't really do things like
Titans, and you
got that's it. I suppose at the very least, then you'd get like the big Wraith Lord Wraith Knight Titans, and that's Revenant Titans, Phantom Titans, and you'd get the Orc Gargants.
Tau have their massive
Well, that's the thing, because bear in mind, Legions Imperialis is based in the 30k because they've tied themselves to 30k.
But Titanicus isn't, is it?
Well, yes and no. Titanicus, because it's Titan versus Titan, it's supposed to be played out over the Horus Heresy. That's why they nailed it to that time period, because it is Titan versus Titan. So at the moment, Imperialis and Adeptus Titanicus is very much finally focused on the 30k era. So they could add the Eldar and the Orcs at the very least. But
I would literally like.
Necrons,
I just label it as like a fun kind of release sort of thing, where it's just a fun sort of like beer and snacks kind of game, almost Titanicus-esque still, but like mostly the big stuff against each other, like Pacific Rim off style sort of thing with these big sort of things. I just think that'd be pretty cool.
I agree. I think it'd be absolutely awesome, but I don't know whether I think it would take a lot for them to do that, which is the shame when they decided to make Legions Imperialis very narrowly focused on the Horus Heresy era. Yeah. I mean, there is ways around it if they were to kind of go, okay, well, let's release, Mark 7 armor Marines in Titanic in that scale. That then lets you move it forward into the 40k era, and at that point you can start doing all the other armies in that scale. But it would be a massive investment in terms of time and money. And I strongly suspect that actually what probably happened is that Legions Imperialis won't survive 5 years. I think it will very quietly die a death, which is a shame because they are some lovely models, and hey ho.
But yeah, there's not much else I can think of really for that question. It's because it is such a broad. I mean, I'll tell you what, guys, in the Discord and in the comments, it's definitely one for you all to come up with your ideas. I'd love to hear anything we haven't thought of. Put it down in the comments for sure, because I'd love to read those and have a chat with you about that. Maybe we'll bring them up on the next show. But yeah, that was that. Ben, you had an idea about something we kind of chat about, which was, you can bring it up if you want to. But
by all means. It was something I was listening to on the radio, and they asked a question about Ewan McGregor of his motorbikes, and which was his favourite, which one did he ride most, that kind of thing. And I got me thinking about in terms of armies. The same kind of collector type questions could be applied to Warhammer. Which is, of all your armies, your favorite army that you own? Not necessarily like of all the armies in the game, but the armies that you own, perhaps your proudest you've painted, or that you really enjoy using. Which is your favorite army? Which is the army you use the most? And then the follow-up question is, well, if you could only save one of them from a fire, which army would you save? Would it be your favorite? Would it be the one you use the most, if that's different? Or would it be something else entirely? Like, an ongoing project or something? So let me pitch that to you first, Luke.
This is cheating. But if I had to save on a fire, one of my
let's
armies...
take it in order. What is your favourite army that you own?
It would be between my Ultramarines and my Lizardmen with Seraphon.
So which of the two is your favourite?
It would probably be Seraphon, just because you know how much I like my lizards. But
yeah, no, that's good.
But it is close, to be honest, because over the last number of years I've become, and I used to hate the idea of it, just like standard vanilla Marines, but playing them and like having built up and painted through the army, and the number of options they have, I think, with just Ultramarines, the number of characters they have in that, and the number of games that I've played now as well, that's added that extra fluff to it and things, I think it's close. But oh man, I'm just such a dinosaur guy.
Okay, so if we say
dinosaurs,
your Seraphon is your favourite, which one do you use the most? What army do you use the most?
Probably Ultramarines, but that's also because most of my friendship group play 40k, which does then also lead to what you were saying. So basically, and this is why I'm sort of coughing out here, because my biggest and most expensive army is Seraphon. So I'd probably choose to save them, just because that's the most money's worth, and obviously I love them. But on the other hand, I'd probably use Ultramarines the most, because my game group mostly plays 40k. So the answer is, I'd probably be there whilst fire is burning around me going, oh, and God knows what would happen. So that is my answer.
So I'm just imagining the cat from Red Dwarf, like, 2 suits, if I cut off my leg, can I take 3? Or just one army, if I leave an arm behind, can I take 2?
The thing I would be from Red Dwarf is Crichton malfunctioning and
his head explodes.
Yeah. It's whatever the line is, where he's like, oh, something of Malaysia and whatever he says, and he has the meltdown because he's malfunctioning.
With lobster?
Yeah. That's what it would be. But Ben, the question I'll bring to you is, so again, the first question, what would your favorite army be?
So I have got
that you own, and you've got a lot. So
I have from the I mean, you've been out of the hobby for a while. You've only just got back in, so it's worth noting your Skaven didn't get a look in there. You didn't even mention your Skaven.
At heart, I'm not a chaos person really, and it's funny because I'm actually wearing a Skaven top tonight. So
well, that's what made me think of it because you were wearing the Skaven shirt.
Yeah,
your Skaven didn't get a look.
It's come round in rotation, so that's why it's on tonight. But
so I have been thinking about this after I heard the thing on the radio. And I've narrowed it, although I've got lots of armies. And one of the armies that I'm proudest of is my Kelly's Heroes Imperial Guard army that I took to 40k doubles years ago and nearly got best army for. I love that army so much, but I don't like Guard in the current edition of 40k. So
you're basing it on rules current rules as well. Then?
In terms of I think
wouldn't that more come under though what army you'd keep?
Well, maybe that
situation. Yeah,
maybe that's part of it. So I kind of thought about the Kelly's Heroes one, and I suppose actually part of it is the Kelly's Heroes one got about as far as 1,500 points under 8th edition rules, and then it stalled because I started adding a load more to it, and then they changed the rules on me, and I didn't like it, and that's why that army isn't finished. It's got like 3 Rust, 3 Chimera, converted Thunderbolts, and like some Guards veteran squads, which you can't use anymore. But it doesn't therefore have loads of the stuff that you'd need to use in an army, which I've got, but I haven't painted because I don't like the way the rules work. So that's why that one is out of the running, which leaves me down to 2 of my old world armies.
Well, I'm not shocked that it's old world, yeah.
And it's whether I like my Bretonnians or my dwarfs more. Because I've probably got more dwarves. I do love my dwarf army a lot. I'm really proud of how it came out. But I think my Bretonnian army is prettier. I think that is what swings it. And I tell you what, actually, probably this is the deciding factor. I cleaned my miniatures cabinet recently, dusted the shelves and stuff, and then reshuffled which models were on which shelf. And the Bretonnians got moved up to the shelf above the dwarves,
right, okay, there you go. That's
so that they were on a higher level, so I could look at them more. I did actually, unfortunately, discover that the banners that are, because they've been facing the window on one side and not on the other, one side of the banner is sun-bleached, the other is not. So their banners are all lightly faded on one side and not on the other. But I think the Bretonnians are my favourite army. Now, the second question is, which one do I use the most? I haven't used my Bretonnians in about 2 years since I used them at a 5th edition event 2 years ago.
Oh, you haven't used them the new edition yet then?
I haven't used them in the current edition. No, crazy. I haven't actually. Okay. Well, it's partly because the way that they're very much designed using the 5th edition Bretonnian army book, where, for example, things like questing knights were just another variant of a knight with a lance, whereas the Bretonnian questing knights in the old world use the later 6th edition onwards version of the knights, where they're armed with great weapons. So I don't have army legal questing knights. I have questing knights armed with lances, which are legal if you're playing 5th edition. So actually, when you look at my army, what you end up with is that it's a lot of Knights of the Realm, because most of them would have to function as Knights of the Realm rather than questing knights like I'd have liked to have been able to use them as. And I don't have like my Pegasus Knights painted and stuff, because although I've got Pegasus Knights from 6th edition, they don't match the army style from 5th edition. So I keep looking at them and thinking, maybe if I get like my scalpel and carve the molded shields off the barding so I can do it on. But I haven't gotten around to doing that yet. So
many jobs when you've got a lot of armies.
That's why. And again, I've looked at it and kind of gone, if I get some of the old school metal knights to mount on the plastic Pegasi, then I can make them match the 5th edition aesthetic. But I haven't gotten around to doing that yet. So I don't use the Bretonnians in the old world, but I do use my dwarves quite a bit. I use my chaos quite a bit, actually, thinking about it. You've got my chaos warriors, which I've used a whole bunch against Michael Funkadrom from the Discord, and my beastmen I've used. But I have, in terms of games played, I think I've used my dwarves the most. So it's probably my dwarves that I've used more. My dwarves are the ones I've used more. So Bretonnians are my favourite. Dwarves are the ones I've used more. As to which one of the two I would save, That's a real nail biter because.
So you'd be the same as me. So you'd be going up to your top shelf, down to your bottom one. You'd be like, oh, and the fire's coming, and
the dwarves,
the glass is melting, and you're like, oh.
The dwarves are almost all metal, whereas the Bretonnians, a lot of them are plastic. So the Bretonnians would suffer from the heat more. But to be fair, I think white metal would equally melt.
And how many of the Bretonnians have like old paper banners as well?
Oh no, the classic banners are actually on the dwarves.
The dwarves, okay.
Of which of the two, if I could only keep one, it would be the dwarves. Because although I love my Bretonnians and they are a beautiful army, the dwarves were the ones that got me back into square bases. And they were, when I was setting out and going, I want to make a 5th edition army at the beginning of lockdown 5 years ago. It was, well, I've always wanted to do a dwarf army, an old school, classic square-based dwarf army, and that's what I did. And it's why I've got, like 5,000 odd points of square-based dwarfs.
So it's funny, we've kind of both came out with the same thing there. We've basically both said that our favourite armies are different, but then our most used armies are the ones we'd save because it's the most practical idea of, like, we'd still be able to then use that. Because we know we use it a lot.
Oh, no, you said you'd save your Seraphon, which isn't your most used. You said you save your Seraphon because they cost most to replace.
I didn't really say in the end. I just said that I wouldn't be able to choose between the two. And
true, you'd burn to death trying to decide.
But, I mean, like, I think if I had to choose between the two, it probably would be Ultramarines, because I just use them more nowadays. But Seraphon are my favourite, just because it's dinos. Dinos are riding dinos. It's always going to be cool.
We shall have to put this to Sai when he comes back and see what
I was going to say, we'll get Sai to answer it next week, for sure.
But let us know in the comments down below which your favourite army is, and whether it's different from the army that you use the most, and which one you'd save in a fire. Or come over on the Discord and we'll have a random jabber about this over on the Discord. I'm sure this will promote conversation on the Discord tomorrow after this episode goes live.
For sure. Well, yeah, it was a fun one, dude. Thanks for bringing that one in.
Yeah, it's cool.
And we'll get, sorry if you're listening, bud, we will get you to answer that one next week.
Get your brain working on that one.
Yeah, size will probably be Star Wars Legion. Or Bolt Action or something.
Or Bolt Action.
Yeah.
It does lead us fairly nicely into hobby updates, though.
I was going to say, yeah, you can pop straight into yours, bud.
Almost just as planned.
Yes, indeed. I'll bring up, hold on,
as long as you bring up the right picture first, this will work as a segue.
Here we go. There you go.
And yay, there we go. Yes, so having said that I'd save my dwarves, I've been adding some more Bretonnians to it. I've had these, I bought these second hand about 3 years ago when I was working on the Bretonnian army for my 5th edition event. And then they've just been sat kind of primed and base coated, but not ready to be finished for quite some time. And then these guys go up on made to order this week. So these are on made to order, I think, until the end of the week. And seeing them on the Games Workshop website made me go, I've got some of those. Yeah, I tracked those down when it was way before they kind of gotten, the old world had come out. So I've got a squad of 20 of these classic Michael Perry men-at-arms with spears. And I thought I'd get one finished. So I've got this one finished. 4 more.
It's really nicely detailed as well.
On the go. They're such nice models. I mean, the Perry twins did an amazing job on the Bretonnian range.
See, like, Bretonnians just scare the life out of me looking at them to paint, to be honest.
No, this was easy. Okay, seriously, this one. Wildwood contrast for the leather jerkin. A Yandon yellow and for the yellow, and a Sherman blue for the blue. Then I just went over the yellow with, I think it was Bad Moon, and I went over the blue with Calidor, and then Teclis, I think, for a highlight. But yeah, most of this was contrast, like even the skin tones, because it was a white undercoat, the skin tones on the hand and in the helmet was some Reichland flesh shade, and then just touched up with a bit of Kislev flesh. So a lot of this was contrast, because this is one of the things I love about the old school metal models, because they take contrast really well. Like the spear shaft is, I think, Agros Dunes, and then just a light dry brush over the top afterwards with some Baneblade Brown. But yeah, I went and picked up some custom transfers online for this, because
I was going to say, are they custom? Yeah, it's
very nice. My Duke is the Duke of Lyonesse, so he's got kind of red lions on his shield, and I thought it'd be cool to have the men-at-arms to be from his kind of force. So as my squires are the kind of the local baron that I kind of first painted in kind of white and blue. So all my squires in the army are wearing white and blue to be kind of part of his hunting party. But then the men-at-arms and the archers are all kind of going to be in the yellow and blue of the kind of dukedom.
Nice. No, very nice. Yeah. And then your third picture you sent me.
Yes. I've been still painting the occasional Dark Angel because I kind of just had this sudden urge to get some Dark Angels done. And again, this is another one of the ones that's been sat in my box waiting to be painted for about 5 years. You can't actually get those helmets anymore. That was the Horus Heresy Ultramarine upgrade helmet, because when I originally bought these, this is from the original, I think, 8th edition box, the Hellblasters that came in the original kind of Marines versus Death Guard box. But I loved at the same time they'd released the upgrade helmets for the Ultramarines for Horus Heresy.
Okay.
And I just thought they were really cool helmets, so I was going to do them as Ultramarines, like all the models.
Actually, quite evil looking, I think. Actually,
yeah. Well, there's this kind of Roman, I suppose, or Greek style face painted
the gladiator type thing. Yeah.
So I stuck them on the Hellblasters because I thought it would look like extra armor protection on the helmets. And actually, I also put a few of the helmets on. Like I've got sort of 5. What are the ones called? The basic Marines. I can't think what the hell they're called.
What, Intercessors?
Yeah, Intercessors. Yeah, I've got 5 Intercessors done up in Ultramarines just to accompany my Ruben Cullerman model. And they've got that same kind of style helmet because that's where I put the other 5. Cool. But yeah, I think since I was
good, actually.
Painting them up as Dark Angels,
I like the theme you've done on the gun as well, actually. The bronze on the end of the red there, it's nice, I like it.
Just got a little bronze barrel. I've also just painted the old fight school kind of Horus Heresy Destroyer logo on his knee pad. Because I feel like the lion would be like, okay, so you're Hellblasters, you're on with big plasma guns, right? You're Destroyers now. And, hey, what are you? Okay, well, we'll make you this over here.
For sure, yeah. No, very nice.
Yeah, that's what I've been up to. What have you been up to, dude? I can almost guess from the name that you have put on your thing, Dawn of Wargaming Luke.
Yeah, so in all honesty, I think I touched on it the last time we came on, but I probably about a month ago hit a massive thing of burnout because I did a lot of hobbying over the last couple of months before that, really, because I painted up all the Necrons and everything that I did, so went on a real run of hobbying. And as it happens to me once or twice a year, I just hit a wall and have to take a little break, and I'll go play video games or something for a few weeks, and I'll still manage to get a game in. I should probably get a picture up of that, but I'll do that in a minute. I'll tell you what I did. But what I have been doing is playing, catching up on a number of Warhammer video games and other video games that I've not had time to. So in terms of the Warhammer video games, I actually invested in the last week or two a Steam Deck. So people who don't know what a Steam Deck is, it's obviously, if you know what Steam is, it's where you can buy your computer games from. Steam Deck is just almost like a handheld, almost like Nintendo Switch style handheld gaming console that you can just download your whole Steam library onto. The majority of them, the games play beautifully on them now. Good bit of memory, and most of the Warhammer video games out there just work on it perfectly. So it's great for me to just sort of, if I'm chilling in bed or if I'm with my partner or something and we're watching whatever, I can just play an hour of a game on there. And a lot of Warhammer video games are like your top-down tactical things, so that works really well just as like if you're watching something, just now and again, just kind of like do some tactical stuff on there. So I've been slowly working my way through Rogue Trader because I've been meaning to get through that for years because that's such a cool game. Great story on that. I've been playing Warhammer Chaos Bane, which is, if anybody's ever played, you ever played the Diablo game?
Actually. Yeah, I've got it on the PS5.
Like Diablo style. Good fun, actually. Basically, it's like it's Warhammer fantasy setting. I think there's like a Slayer dwarf. There's like an elf mage. There's a few different classes.
Funnily enough, I've been playing it as the Troll Slayer,
Witch Hunter, and stuff like that. Yeah, I've been playing as Troll Slayer as well. He's the coolest. But there's like, I'd say it's a good length game. I'm about halfway through. Basically there's a section for each Chaos God, and you fight the greater demon at the end of each section. And I've gotten through Nurgle. I'm now on the end of Khorne, so I'm slowly working my way through that as well. Yeah. And then this last weekend, Dawn of War, as per my title there tonight, got its full remaster from the original designers, definitive editions. So original Dawn of War, Winter Assault, Dark Crusade, and Soulstorm all in one package. Slightly up-resed character models and everything. And they've improved some of the gameplay, the character unit movement and stuff like that. Because originally, sometimes you'd send them to move somewhere, unit, and it would they'd just run into a hill or a wall, and they wouldn't know where to go. So they've improved all that. And they've made it so that it's all compatible with the modding community, which is great because the modding community have just taken those games to another level nowadays. So I'm glad that they can keep all that. And yeah, I never properly really played through the campaigns on them, so I'm slowly going to work through those. And my idea, hopefully, if I get the time, I really hope I can, is I want to do a mini-series on the channel, separate videos, and if any of you guys want to join me after you've possibly played some of them, then you can. And I'm basically just going to do short reviews on each of the games that I play through and give my thoughts on them, and then I'm going to rank them as I go. So I'll put them into sort of thing of my favourites.
Like a leaderboard.
Yeah, it'd be a kind of cool thing to do, and just then further down the line, I might have a 10 to 20 video games that I've played from Warhammer, and people can refer to that if they want to know thoughts on them, So
that's good.
Yeah, so no, it's kind of what I've been up to at the moment and into. And like I say, I did manage to get a game in. We've got this ongoing 40k campaign, and I had a game with my Ultramarines against, what was it I played the other day? It was gonna come to me, but I did have a game with my Ultramarines. It was good, and it was a draw. Oh, I played Iron Warriors. I played my friend Sam's Iron Warriors. And it was a very, very close game. It was a draw in the end. He took, as you'd expect for Iron Warriors, a pure number of tanks. He had 2 Vindicators up the front, and I very much struggled with those. And they both Vindicators managed to annihilate a unit of 10 Assault Intercessors, Primaris, with a Lieutenant. Pretty much took out that whole unit in cover in the first turn. It was very scary. But I managed to kind of bring it back as the game went on and drew it up. So the Ultramarines are back for the with Captain Acilius for the Ultramarines in the campaign we're doing, and we're planning at the end of October to end it, and we're going to do a massive apocalypse game at Warhammer World.
Sweet.
So I'm very excited for that. And that's when I'm going to go to Warhammer World and pick up some Tomb Kings, because that'll be perfect, because they have such good stock levels there for all the old world stuff.
They'll probably have the new Tomb King stuff out by then as well, like the new character, the Hierophant on horse and the Sunbearer horse and stuff. That might all be out by then.
Very good point. And new Cetra,
yeah.
Because if there isn't by then, I'll end up just picking up the old one. So
the old one and a couple of the mounted ones and convert.
Yep. Yeah, that's what we were saying, wasn't it? It'd be cool to do that.
And then they'll release a new model.
Probably. Hopefully it gets leaked in the next month and I'll know. But that is more or less hobby updates, I think. And it's we've timed it out, we've fleshed it out really well this week, Ben. We've hit an hour, so we've done well there. And we're sad to miss you, Si. We'll see you next time, but we'll catch up on your hobby updates, and we'll ask you some of those questions maybe next time. But guys, if you want to jump into our Discord or leave comments below on this video, leave us community questions. We love to answer them. We have some great topics, and we really enjoy answering those and getting into the conversation. But otherwise, like I say, make sure to subscribe to us here, follow us on Spotify, do all the things that make the dings, as they say. And before we go, Ben, where can people find you? Have you been doing anything?
You can find me over on my own channel, which is 90% Geek. There's not been a new video up there for a little while because there's been some real life stuff getting in the way, but I am now at a point where I'm hopefully going to get some new videos up there later this month. But you can always just go watch my extensive back catalogue otherwise. And you can find anything with myself and Wargaming Luke over on Blue Sky as well. We're both on there. Come and follow us on there. See what kind of hobby stuff we've been up to.
No, for sure. Oh, and quick shout out to our winner who did receive his Tyranid Combat Patrol. He actually decided to pre-order the newest Tyranid Combat Patrol. Sacrosnacked it wasn't it, the username? From Estonia, which is pretty cool. So congratulations again, dude, and enjoy that, and we'll enjoy your updates on Discord.
Yeah.
But until next time, guys, as always, stay safe out there and happy wargaming. See you guys.
Bye.